whether we've used them or not, right? Obviously relationships and community and sort of organic happenings are part of any artist's life. I think that's undeniable. But when we talk about how we're going to find audiences for new work or for new voices in our industry, what are people doing right? What is successful right now when you look at like audio, visual, music videos, standalone content? What have you seen? And it can be things you've done, or you can point to other people in the industry. What works? What gets people to be engaged with your content, either as a writer or as a creator of brand? What do you do? How can you do it? What's working?
I think if there were an easy answer to that, none of us would be sitting here. I think it's something, at least I personally am constantly trying to figure out, and I think the only real way to figure it out is to just constantly be creating content and finding new ways of putting new content out in the world. You see these examples of things that the Bridgertons or the Ratatouilles, things that people put out as short form content on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever that eventually blow up and become much bigger than what they were initially conceived to be. I mean, I think the privilege of where we're all sitting right now is that technology is completely reshaping everything, which is terrifying in a lot of ways, but also empowering in a lot of ways, because the gatekeepers are in some ways less gatekeepery than they used to be. And we do have the power and the freedom to put a lot more work out there in different ways. Whether it's social media, whether it's, there were conversations in the panels earlier about, it's now a lot, quote unquote, easier to put out a cast album or a concept album than it used to be, which is one great way of doing it. But it's also, the idea of an album is not necessarily the same thing that it used to be. I mean, we've tried, just putting out a single song. From
I was going to say, you talk about Finn has a great single about it, but to be honest, I found it through its music video of Zach singing as opposed to through Spotify, because there's so much on Spotify, right? Like I wouldn't have organically necessarily found it there, but I found it through the visual.
Yeah, so it's about putting it out in all different arenas,
right.
With the 360-degree media approach, and seeing what sticks and being able to look at that and recognize what's sticking and figuring out how to build from there. But I think it comes from constant trial and error and experimentation.
Sure. And looking at what works and then pivoting is what you're saying too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. Being flexible.
Right, certainly.
Yeah, the same. I think you have to, the first step is just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do things as much as you can. It doesn't matter if bad, you consider it bad or good. The more that you put out there, it's just math. Just math. The more you put, eventually you're gonna get to a 10-20%, the more people is gonna be aware of. The more that you do, and as many ways that you can do it, using all platforms. And I think that something is very important as leaders, as storytellers, is do it being honest to yourself and being honest about what the things that you want to tell. Don't do it because I'm gonna do this viral, blah, blah, blah. No, I think that you're going the wrong way. You have to do something because you feel passionate about it, because you believe in that, and eventually,
right, let it go viral.
That is gonna be there. When you start trying to get famous and being viral and all that, you're gonna get viral, but other kinds of infections, right? It's not about that. So I think honesty is very important always when you're doing something.
I think about it. Well, first of all, I'm terrible at this. So again, it's funny that I'm on this panel. I think there's a couple things that I feel like I've learned from people on my podcast. We most recently had one with Catherine Quinn. If anybody knows, and that's Showbiz. I'm not here to plug her necessarily, but she's kind of the embodiment of, I think, what people are doing in this way. We have this deep conversation about the details around her marketing that she's done for maybe Happy Ending and Gatsby. And if you look at those two shows, which were Gatsby should not be here today as long as it has, and it's still going because of the way that they showed up with marketing. Maybe Happy Ending was truly the most word of mouth thing that ever happened. I did kind of put it towards a swept away. Why did it swept away continue? I don't know what their marketing team was. And it is a thing that it actually pains me because it's like I didn't become an artist to become a marketer, and I have my own personal resistance to it. But I will say that there is something about consistency, and so perhaps it's like, okay, if I've created said content, let me try to put it across all mediums. But if you're not able to do that consistently, pick one and stick with it. Like, I think that's been something that I've heard a bunch and I feel is true. So that if you keep that and grow your audience in the one place, and then eventually you're like, oh, this is a muscle that I now have, and it's in me, and it's organic, and it doesn't feel like work as much, and now I know what I'm doing, and then I can potentially funnel it out. So I think that is something that I've gathered. You know, I think there's also, going back to your authenticity of it all, I forget his name, I think his name's Oliver, the Phil and the Pennsatucky, the one that he just did with Natalie Joy, that song, Phil and Phyllis. What was it called? Oh my God, this is gonna kill me. The Ballad of Phil and Phyllis. It was so good. It's so good on TikTok. I don't know this person at all, but like, he has been writing like a little musical song every single day, just like putting it into the ether. And now he had this like viral moment, and he had Natalie, why am I saying it right? Joy, why am I saying Natalie? I'm retired, friends. Joy Wood's on it, and it's just like, it's so good. And I would not have seen that if I didn't like slowly see the way that he was just organically showing up every day, just like sharing art. Mm-hmm. Not because he was like making me famous. It was like, I just am really, the songs in my head, this thing inspired me, and I like want to share it. And so people, the plus and minus about a camera, for better or for worse, is like it reads dishonesty in a second, and we know it, whether we can verbalize it or not. When you see someone, you're scrolling past something, you're like, that is so staged. Bye, or whatever. Right? It's so, but like, you know, versus like, oh, there's something here, and why do we stay on the video? Because you're seeing something that's real. And you know, instead of us trying to be interesting, I think we just need to like be us. Like I know it's so trite and cliche and dumb, but it's something that I really, really deeply, like desperately believe in my heart of like, truly, like no person is creating the way that you create. Nobody's writing the way that you're writing. Nobody's showing up the way that you're showing up. And it's like, you're robbing other people of that by not giving, even if you feel like you are a mess when you're doing it. And people love a mess, because then they're like, I'm also a mess. And now we have so many messy, gorgeous, beautiful humans who are being met. Like, what other beautiful place to live when everything is burning, right? So I don't know, I feel like the starting is hard, the consistency is hard, and the feeling that you have to do something perfectly is not right. So messy, trying, doing it because, and not with any other reason other than like, this feels good.
Yeah.
And also to say, I mean, your job is to do that, and always know that you don't know what's gonna be on the other side. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if you reach 1 billion or 2 people, because maybe you reach only 2 people, but you don't know who is that people, you know? Mm-hmm. And you might change someone's life, or you might like reach to a producer, or you might reach to a potential collaborator. I have done concerts that sold out concerts, and I have done concerts with 5 people in the room. Mm-hmm. And sometimes one of those guys is the one who reached to me and, oh, I saw you in that concert that was like empty, and now I want you to write for this and this and this. So you just put yourself out there, being honest, and that is gonna help you that someone relate with what you are doing.
Yes, and it sounds like, similar to what you said before, your goal behind even doing a concert is for your own artistry, not for the gathering of some kind of a showcase.
I mean, and at the end you lose a lot of money, maybe.